the top ethnic Chinese master in Forged in Fire, truly lives up to his reputation. Lying low for months, he came back with a flame storm, patterned Damascus steel katana. Not only was the entire blade crafted with the most exquisite techniques, twisted and folded repeatedly to form its unique texture, but the blade itself also boasted patterns, resembling the swirling storms on Jupiter. What's more, this extraordinary sword was already sold for $80,000 before it even came out of the forge. As it turns out, Jesse, who forged this blade to prove a point to himself, his last creation, the Enma katana, was criticized for its lackluster clay tempering patterns. This time, he was determined to outdo his previous work. That's why he chose to forge this katana, using the most intricate twisted vortex Damascus steel. This time around, Jesse's attention to detail was far more meticulous than ever before. He not only welded up all the gaps in the steel billet, but also soaked it in quenching oil to prevent impurities from seeping in. When the soaked billet was heated, a protective layer formed on its surface, stopping oxygen from penetrating during the twisting process and causing internal oxidation and delamination. His plan was to first forge the billet into a 1-inch square prism. This shape would make the twisting process both easier and less risky. Jesse started with conventional forging and pressing. Then he added shims on both sides to ensure the billet met the exact dimensions and maintained uniformity. After stretching it out, he pressed it horizontally along the diagonal, compacting the internal grain structure for a tighter, more refined pattern. It was clear that Jesse had perfect control over the force of each hammer strike, resulting in a dramatic boost in efficiency. Next came the critical twisting step. Building on the standard twisting method, he added an extra twist, taking the central vortex pattern to an even higher level of complexity. Once the twisting was done, he used a wire brush to clean off surface impurities, making sure none would get trapped inside the steel. Jesse's mastery of these small yet vital details was always impressive. He then performed one final twist to ensure the finished patterns flowed naturally and seamlessly. After letting the billet cool completely, he used a stamping press to give it its initial shape. But for the finer, more precise shaping, Jesse stuck to the traditional hammer and anvil, working the metal bit by bit. First, he used a hot cutting technique to angle the tip of the blade. Then he hammered the longer side of the billet, bending it toward the shorter side to form the cutting edge. According to his notes, Jesse intended to keep the total length of the sword at 36 inches. This meant he had to measure the blade's length repeatedly while forging it, which was one of the reasons he preferred using a hand hammer. It gave him far better control over the blade's dimensions. After days of painstaking hand forging, his hands were covered in bruises. Thankfully, once he finished refining the blade's details, the rest of the process became much smoother. After rough grinding, he subjected the blade to 3 heat cycles at 1650 degrees Fahrenheit, 1500 degrees Fahrenheit, and 1350 degrees Fahrenheit respectively, preparing it for quenching. He heated the blade to 1500 degrees Fahrenheit, his favorite quenching temperature. Once it reached the desired heat, he pulled it out and plunged it quickly into the quenching tank. By rapidly moving the blade up and down, he broke through the steam barrier, enhancing the quenching effect. The moment he pulled the blade out was truly a sight to behold. He used a belt sander to meticulously grind and polish every inch of the blade's surface. Once every part of the blade was polished to perfection, he moved on to crafting the fittings. Jesse chose high-toughness brass for the pommel and guard. To complement the storm-like patterns on the blade, he decided to shape the guard into a cloud design. For the handle, he picked maple wood, a departure from the material he used for the Enma. He then crafted metal end caps for both ends of the handle to protect it from wear and tear. Once that was done, he glued a layer of leather onto the handle for added texture and added 2 thunderbolt emblems to match the blade's stormy motifs. Finally, he wrapped the handle with linen cord to ensure a non-slip grip. With everything ready, he proceeded to acid etch the blade. Under the chemical reaction of the acid, the hidden patterns on the blade slowly emerged. On the surface, after rinsing off the ferric chloride solution, Jesse used his signature coffee etching technique, just like he always did, to make the pattern stand out even more vividly. And there it was. The storm-patterned Damascus katana was finally complete. Its sleek, flowing curves and intricate surface patterns gave it an aura of power and striking elegance.